Are you tired of all the dating games, rules, and societal norms that make falling in love confusing and stressful?
Then join us as we ditch the script and empower you to establish healthy, conscious relationships.
This weekly podcast breaks down popular dating reality television and educates you on healthy versus toxic dating habits.
I'm Brianna, a licensed therapist.
And I'm Alex, a trauma-informed and certified narcissist recovery coach.
Are you ready to ditch the script?
Oh my God.
I love it.
Hello?
Wow. I tell you, 30 seconds gets shorter every week. Every week.
Every week when you're dancing. Hey.
That's right. Wow. How are we?
We're so good. I mean, I'm great. How are you? I don't want to speak for you.
I'm also great. You spoke for me well. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, I'm doing really well.
Nice.
It feels like the people in my life are doing really well. I mean, not without their like stuff. Everyone's got stuff.
That's
but
the huge. Nothing like outlandish.
Yeah. Well, you know what it
wild.
is? Maybe it's new stuff for them, but it's nothing that they can't handle.
I know exactly who you're talking to.
Oh, cool. Well, and parties that you're familiar with and others, like I'm seeing lots of other people in my life and myself included that are like dealing with new types of stressors and challenges. Like, hello, welcome
Handling
to your
it
30s.
Mother.
Yeah. They're handling like, or rather maybe they don't feel like they can handle it, but I'm like, hey,
we
you can
got
handle
this.
it. And
You
then they're
sparkle,
like, wait, yeah,
you shine.
Yeah. You sparkle, you shine. You're okay.
We're doing it. Yes. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really good energetically as well. Like really light, really happy. The birds are chirping. The flowers are blooming. It's a vibe. Spring is upon
Even though
us,
it's
baby.
winter, not quite. We're like a little bit far from there. Oh my
it's
gosh.
spring for me in the desert.
This is our this is the episode that's gonna air before Valentine's Day.
OMG, it is. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Okay.
We
quick
love
rundown.
you.
We've done some like Valentine's Day specific content last year. So if you want,
I don't even remember.
We were
What
just
did we
talking
do?
about like good Valentine's
we were on that
Days.
Alfie chat. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're, oh
That's
my
right.
God, that was a year ago. Wow. Time is so trippy.
Yeah.
Okay. What's crazy is that was a year ago, which feels like 2 weeks ago. Your birthday, every time that we talk about this, Alex's birthday is March 9th. Every time we talk about this, I have to remind myself that was a full year ago now.
I know. I don't like that feeling.
No.
God. It was a good time. I had such a good time.
It was
really like the weirdest, chillest, but simultaneously good time to Vegas. It was weird.
Yeah,
It was an
sober,
interesting trip. Yeah.
The most sober bitches that have ever stepped foot
Done
onto Vegas soil. Yeah.
We didn't even go in the pool. Like,
no,
what?
Oh
it
my
was
God,
kind
no,
of, it was cold.
Really cold.
Yeah. We're going to do a Vegas trip again. And this time we'll do it fucking right.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe we'll drive in together. That was always a vibe too. Like the pump up jams on the way there.
You know what we really need? Like, let's
What?
focus our energy on a really solid Orange County weekend.
Okay, done.
And like a South Florida weekend.
Yeah, I'm coming to you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Put it on the record that we've said this a bunch. We've said this
but it's
going to
happen. This
you
year
mark
is the
our
year.
words. Listen, if we could make Vegas happen, Vegas, a place where I never thought I would really put boots on the ground, then we can make our Florida dreams happen. I'm certain.
100%. I haven't been back to Florida since 2011.
Yeah. And ever since
12 years ago.
That's crazy. It's really insane. It's a long time.
Prepare yourself, Sunshine State.
Yeah, get ready. The sunshine girl
This girl's
is ready.
coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she said,
I'm bring
you know
my
what?
sparkle to your sunshine, bitch.
You thought you had me, Florida? You thought you got me? I'm here. You thought you killed me. You did not.
No.
That's beautiful. I can't wait for that.
Girl, me neither, because it's going to be a very, I don't want us to do anything wild, because I want it to be like a very enjoyable trip, but we do need to eat good food. We do need to eat good food.
Eating
so
food.
Tijuana Flats.
Eating food will happen. What does getting wild to you mean?
I think it depends on the vibe of the trip and how long I'm there. If we have a recovery day, we can totally go out on the town and vibe. I just don't want to be heading back to the airport or into the work week, same as you, feeling like I need a day of rest. That's what I mean.
You don't want to be
nothing overwhelming.
Yes. You don't want to be shit-faced. Okay. How do you feel about stepping out, but keeping the alcohol to a very minimum?
Easy. I can do that all day.
Because what I want to do is I want to shake a tail feather.
I'm down for that. Always. Come on, girl.
I want to shake a tail feather, but like I'll drink like I call them soft seltzers, which when I order them at the bar, like people don't like that because they don't know what I'm talking about. I just mean like, because every time I order a seltzer, like hard seltzers have ruined this for me. I'm like, I want a seltzer with lime, and they're like, do you wanna what are they called? Yeah, do you want a fucking White Claw? Yeah, or whatever. What's the
all of them?
Like
those are both
one.
options.
Yeah.
Spindrift has one now. Did you see that? Spindrift has a seltzer water now.
Polar even has one. They all have one. Bud Light.
I don't know.
One.
Polar.
Listen,
what?
The minute that Bud Light creates a hard seltzer, you get out of the game.
Get out of here. Get out of here with that. You're a beer. Yeah, High Noon. Yeah,
it's High Noon.
We're talking about getting those at the hotel.
Well, they're tasty, but they will also ruin you. They'll ruin me. Yeah. So every time I go to the bar and I'm like, can I get a salsa? I have to go, can I get a salsa water? And with lime.
Bringing the Jersey in hard.
Yeah.
There.
Well, that's kind of a New England.
Jersey, Boston mixture.
Yeah. Can I get a salsa? But they will, they'll question me when I go, can I get a soft seltzer? And they're like, what
the fuck is that?
About? Yeah.
Like virgin. Virgin. Just mean, soda water, please.
Oh my God. That's what I should say. A virgin seltzer. That's so funny.
I dare you.
Okay, yes.
No, I'm down. We'll cut a rug together, but let me tell you, I don't need alcohol to cut a rug, but I will have a beverage or two with you because it's a celebration. I said that the other night. I was like, are we going out? I might have a beer tonight. And everyone was like, what? That's when you know Alex is really going on.
Yeah.
She just
we can have a singular beer. We can have a singular beer.
No, girl, come on. If we're going out, we'll do something fun. Beer is
but let's keep it minimal.
Yes.
Keep it minimal. Fine. Keep the vibes high.
I'm really good at maintaining boundaries, even under peer pressure. I've been complimented on it before, actually.
Wow, that's awesome.
At a Halloween party.
I'm learning. So
you're safe with me.
Let's do this. Thank you. Let's do this together. And I'm really excited about it.
Me too. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Whenever it is. Okay. So also ready. We have a question.
Let's go.
That we're going to answer.
Question.
This is from one of our listeners, and I'm going to keep their name private. Hi, listener.
Private name listener.
We'll email you, listener. We'll have emailed you by this time. They write, I've been listening to you guys for a couple months now, and I'm in my first healthy relationship, so thank you. And yay, you're welcome.
Yay, we're celebrating you.
Yeah, congrats. My previous relationship was extremely abusive. Then I took 3 years to heal and be single. But now I struggle with being, quote, too independent and letting him in. If things bother me, I am scared to share them with my partner. He's extremely kind and level-headed, but I find myself looking for something wrong with him. So, what do you think?
Girl, first of all, it's so understandable to be feeling this way. So I just want to take a moment to be like, I get that. And there's nothing wrong or weird about you for feeling this way. So I just want to make space for that, first of all, because when you have experienced an abusive relationship, you, of course, are going to be on guard because no one ever wants to repeat that again. So it's understandable you're feeling like this. And the second thing I want to encourage you to lean into is you name quite a few like good qualities that you see in your partner. And so what I like to say is look for the physical evidence, follow the track record of what he's demonstrated to you thus far. And if he has been someone who's level-headed, if he has been someone who's kind and caring, then practicing some of these skill sets when you see something that you're, she mentioned something in her question about keeping things to herself. And so whatever that is that you're keeping to yourself, practice just parts language is so helpful right here, right? Hey, there's something I really want to talk to you about. And a part of me is feeling a little nervous, or a part of me is feeling anxious to do that. And what this will allow your partner to do is meet you halfway by first reassuring you that you're safe to bring up whatever you want to talk about, right? So that's my big first two tips is follow the evidence, look at his track record, and then allow yourself to lean into parts language so that you can express yourself in a very honest way that brings him in to the conversation prepared to hold space for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about you?
I think that that's great. I think I agree with you. I think it's incredibly normal to have had the experience of toxic relationships, whether it was one or many. It doesn't matter if you've had one. It feels like you've had many. And
100.
To go into a new relationship that you're identifying is healthier. And you specifically note that this person is kind. And my hope is that this person is kind even in conflict. And if that's true, then that's really, really, really wonderful. And it's going to make a great place to help practice engaging in some disconfirming beliefs where you can share things that you feel vulnerable about and be met with a different response than you've had in the past. That will take time. Mm-hmm. I think that that's a bit more of like an advanced stage of that skill development. I think starting first with, as you said, Alex, like using parts language to start opening up and saying like, I really want to share something, but I'm scared, or I'm nervous, or there's something that's holding me back, to allow your partner to get a little bit of insight into what your thought process is like. Because my belief is that when people have an understanding of where you're coming from and why things are hard, they are able to elicit more patience to be with you in that process as you push yourself to share more in smaller incremental levels. Because to give it all at once just because your partner's like, but I'm here and I'm healthy and I'm kind and I'm good to you, is not enough to bridge that gap of where you're coming from those past experiences to where they are now, which is like, but this is a good relationship. And I feel like that happens a lot.
Oh my, I've been there before, right? Like I'm not your ex, and it's like, oh my God, I know that it's not helpful right now.
Literally.
So and if that is something that you hear, I will give you a tool that is not evidence. It's evidence-based for Alex, for me.
Right.
But in those moments when I hear something that isn't helpful, right? And you can use this at work. You can use this at home. You can use this with a child, maybe if you're a parent and they're responding to you in a way that's really testing your patience. I literally will bite the tip of my tongue. To like, I will elicit pain. I don't hurt myself. I don't bite my tongue, like literally to the point of bleeding, but I allow myself to hold that for a hot second before I respond, because for me, that kind of anchor, and I've had friends who do it other ways, like rubber band against the wrist, like whatever the fudge works for you. But for me, that has really come in, especially in the heat of the moment when emotions are high and I'm really trying to sit in a place where I'm not emotionally reacting. Having that as a moment to be like, ooh, okay, I can feel myself coming up. And that's usually when I ask for a break. I'll be like, okay, I don't want to respond out of character. Give me some time. Or I'll just be like, can I have a moment to think, to mull this over? That's usually what ends up. I had just had to do this a couple weeks ago, actually. So that sensation is really familiar to me right now. But just throwing it out there, because when we are bringing something vulnerable to anyone in our life, and they respond in a defensive manner by trying to have you gain perspective of, I'm not that person, or look at it from here instead of first validating and listening to you. Ooh, it can really be a tester of patience in that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that that's something to play around with. I want to speak to that, the last thing that she mentioned, which is finding, I don't want to misquote them. I find myself looking for something wrong with them. Yeah. I think that this is not something that your partner can help you with. You have to be responsible for this in yourself. If you were here and I had the opportunity to talk to you, I would want to ask, like, what are you looking for? What are you expecting to find if you find something wrong with them? If you find something wrong with someone, what does that give you access to? Does that help you retreat and be alone again? And is that more comfortable? Does finding something wrong with them feel familiar based on your past experiences? What is at risk? Or what is at risk if you don't find something wrong with them? Yeah. Why is that scary?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think engaging in that conversation. Yeah. What are you worried might happen if you don't find something wrong with them? What does that mean?
And that right there, because let's just go with what she's already said, that he truly is a level-headed, caring person. That can feel very scary for someone who has had relationship trauma, because you're like, this is new and unfamiliar. And if that is you, and I pray that that's you in your circumstance, I want to call, like, caringly just let you know, regulating in that environment of like, I feel so seen. Oh my God, I feel so safe. And like breathe into that. And like really, for lack of a better way to put it, bathe or soak in that and just let yourself be like, oh my God, this feels so good to not have to worry. Soak it up, girl. Yeah. Soak it the fuck up.
I agree.
Because that was me in my first healthy relationship. I was like, if I'm being honest, I looked at my previous partner to be cheating all the fucking time at first. I was like, because I was so used to it.
When's he going to do it?
When? And so it's like one of those things where, you know, at first I was so on edge about it all that it took me quite some time to regulate and be like, wait a second, I'm so safe, I'm so secure. And it would show up. If I can trust myself. I've been through it before. If it's going to happen again, it's going to happen again. But me worrying about it isn't going to serve me. And so, yeah, I just want to throw that out there.
I think that that's helpful. Being able to breathe into even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, the idea of, I'm looking for something that's wrong with this person. I can't find anything. And therefore, with the information that I have, there is nothing wrong. Breathing into that and learning to find a little bit of, I won't even say comfort, but tolerance for the discomfort, to let that allow you to begin to feel even differently in those moments, hopefully more comfortable. Yeah. When in doubt, I think that we sometimes we're constantly finding ourselves like trying to get prepared, like prepared for what's going to happen, prepared for this person to hurt me, prepared to like not be caught off guard. But the thing is about our nervous system and the experience of really being met with someone treating us poorly after doing a lot of this work of, I now recognize how people can treat me poorly and I don't want to be in that position again. You'll know it when you fucking see it. You'll know it. So let that be like, it's a difficult practice, but it's an important practice to breathe into those moments where you don't have any evidence to support that this person is wrong, or that they're bad, or that they're like ill-intentioned and that they're trying to hurt you, get you to all of the next moments. And if you find yourself in a position in which this person has done you wrong, hurt you, trust yourself to be able to handle and meet yourself in that moment.
Yeah.
When that happens, it'll be much clearer to you than it is right now. I can promise that.
Yeah, 100%. And the other thing I want to add to this, because this for me was like a huge aha moment, was understanding and accepting. I just want to repeat that because this is a huge part. understanding and accepting the fact that our brains do not know the difference between something we are hyperfixating on that we don't know is true or not versus actually being in that reality. And what I mean by that is going back to the example I just shared where my worst, and it was a narcissistic relationship as well, but that relationship where I was chronically cheated on, since I was looking for it, always on high alert, hypervigilant, I was constantly putting myself into a state of anxiety, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And it didn't serve me ever. And because of that, like, you could be quite literally torturing yourself, putting yourself into a state of anxiety, just assuming or questioning. And again, being on the lookout for when it's not even your real reality. And it's not going to make you feel any better if that reality were to come around. We think that if we prepare for it, it'll be less disappointing or less painful. And it's the furthest thing from the truth. So, trust him. If he, like I said, look at the track record. If it's good and you have no reason to doubt it, enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sending you love.
Lots of luck and well wishes to our friend.
Yeah, for real. And so happy for you for being in a good relationship and taking 3 years to heal. Snaps for you. Get it.
Yeah.
Queen.
Honestly, the real congratulations deserves to you finding your way out of your past experiences.
Yes.
So wherever that landed you, whether that's single or that's in partnership with someone else that's healthier, it doesn't even fucking matter. The fact that you got out, the fact that you've been reflecting on it, that is powerful in and of itself, and we commend you for it. And so thank you for sharing that bit with us. And we hope that there's lots of other good things on the horizon.
Yep. All righty. We're going to...
It's Bachelor time.
Skip on over to the mansion now. For some tea time with Batch.
You could take like about a 4-hour skip to the mansion if you wanted.
Yeah. I don't want to. How much trouble do you think I'd get in for egging it? Well, now that I've said it.
Well, they'd be like, what
Probably
what is this woman doing outside begging people to come out here and check in about how their nervous system is doing?
Yeah.
What is she doing?
To be like, this crazy girl.
Why is she talking to us about our stress responses?
Over and over again.
Okay. So
love you.
What we have in this episode, I love you too. What we have in this episode is we have 2 one-on-ones, which are the bread to the sandwich of a massive group date.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. A massive football group date. Yeah. Wink, wink. Bachelor Super Bowl. Yeah. Wink, wink.
We are recording. Isn't the Super Bowl going on like right now?
Right now.
I'm pretty sure they like just kicked off. Okay.
Yeah.
This is so fitting.
Give a fuck.
Me neither. I didn't even know who was playing in it until today. I asked a coworker. I'm like, who's even playing in the Super Bowl?
I know that there's a Philadelphia Eagles, a bird, if you will.
Yep. Caw-caw.
And a caw-caw. And the other, unbeknownst to me,
49ers, baby.
Oh, okay. There we go. So we have
between the two of us.
We have a little East Coast, West Coast rivalry happening right now.
We do, but
I don't even want to continue to pretend to give a shit. I don't want to pretend to give a shit. That's really nice.
So I care more about Bachelor Nation actually right now at this moment.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Me too. Okay. Yeah. So
in this show,
the first one
poisons the minds of people. Yeah, I'm going to shut up now.
It's truly poison. No, you're right. It's poison. I have lots of feelings about it, but I'll save that for a different podcast.
Okay.
We have Katie.
Yes. Katie.
It's Katie's one-on-one.
We liked her.
Now,
yeah.
Well, last week I had feelings. I had like a...
We did.
I'm not
Both of us were sus.
Feel. Do you have different feelings about Katie after this?
I feel much better.
One-on-one? Oh, good.
Do you?
I have one note. I do feel better. But I was keeping in mind of like, I don't want to be duped.
I know.
So while I was watching, I just still felt like, and it could have just been edits. I was just like, I'm not getting a sense of who she is. I saw her being playful and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But I still was like, who are you?
Right.
And
like,
I know that you're attracted to each other. But who are you?
Exactly. So I'm going to add on to that and be like, I agree. I feel a lot better, as in like, initially the eye contact love bombing vibes is what we were like, ooh, what's going on here? Right.
Yeah.
And it could have been a camera angle. It could have been alcohol, maybe, with a little bit of liquid courage. There's some intensity there. We don't know. But I will say that I didn't feel that same feeling this time around observing and watching. I agree with you that at their dinner date, when they were talking about how much they liked each other, I was like, do you know each other? Like, I remember being like, what's the depth here? Like, yeah, like, what do you know? Do you know what you guys do for work even? Middle names? Are we there yet? Like, we didn't get to see that. And me, like, erring on the side of like assuming that that's just not the kind of television that they include in this show. Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna like let it go.
Want it.
But me too.
What's your favorite animal?
What makes me fascinated by, I have like 3 animals that I would name, and I have very intentional answers about why I would name them. You know what I mean? So, but those are the conversations I live for, is like, tell me. Cause I think that like shows a lot about a person. It might sound stupid, silly, but not to me. So
I agree.
Anyway, I was really stoked about them. What I loved most about, cause she does share about her past finally. And I loved her being able to tell Zach about this on and off relationship that she went through, and how like they never made her feel special or like unique and seen. And Zach, what I loved about how he responded to her was telling her, I appreciate you for opening up to me. That was like one of the first things he said. Yeah. And I think that what we miss a lot in conversation and connection with others, especially when we're dating and looking for a partner, is how someone responds. Like, do they validate me, or do they immediately go to try and do they skip over it? Do they play devil's advocate right off the bat, which invalidates my experience? Like, what is it? You know what I mean? And I just love that. And I wanted to call that out. So yay, Zach, green flag.
Yeah, I love. We haven't really we don't do green flags so much anymore, because we're talking about what we're ditching and what we're calling in. But Zach would get a whole bunch. But also, I do think that he's great. But he's getting the like Bachelor edit special.
True. I mean, they're always going to make their leading man or lady look good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think that he's pretty good at validating without just refocusing on himself. Because I think, at least in my own experience, that's what I've seen the most, is I might get that's interesting. And I'll just continue to tell you about what I have going on and how that relates to me. Then I get it. I know why people do that. It's not because they're not listening. It doesn't infer that they're listening a bit. It's usually because it's the quickest way that they can express, I hear you and I relate to it. Let me tell you about it. But unfortunately, what doesn't always feel good is just being being in a moment in which you're sharing something, you're being vulnerable, and have it just pivoted towards someone else. And which, for me, what I'm going to do is a lane that I'm comfortable in being like, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. And now we've totally gotten away from whatever deep childhood stuff that I've just dumped on you with no awareness. And I'm now pivoting towards yours. And I'm actually going to stay there, because where I was vulnerable and a little uncomfortable, but maybe could have tolerated some more questions, now I'm really uncomfortable and I don't want to bring it back to me. You know?
Yeah, totally. Thank you. I love that. That's a good point.
He doesn't do that so much, or at least if he does share about himself, it's at an appropriate level. I do notice that Zach asks a lot of questions, good questions.
I love it.
Yeah, I know. Me too. It's surprising.
I want to go on a date with him, and he's 25.
Whatever. He's tall.
Yeah.
Does that age him?
No. I mean, like, I honestly, if it was a 25-year-old in front of me that looked that good with his shirt off and was conscious like that, I'd be down. Why not?
Yeah.
It's age.
Yeah. Who gives a
25 is brain just finished forming. Cool.
And you know what? I can see it. I feel like the grooves have finally set in place.
Thank you, Gray Matter. We appreciate you.
Yeah, literally.
Okay.
So then they have a little
from
cheeky. They have a cheeky
jargon.
Yeah, right. They have a cheeky little sleepover.
I know, where they stayed up all night, probably making out and sharing their feelings. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was great. Yeah. Like, come on. Like, they probably made out the whole time. Like, did they really talk much? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
and not that this is really any of our business. And there's really not a whole lot of use in speculating on like what else may have happened. But my hunches are they didn't have sex.
I don't think so. No. I don't think it went past making out. Maybe some heavy petting, like a boob or a butt. But like, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet they left the crotches alone.
I agree.
You know?
I think they did. I think they're both like, we'll wait.
Yeah. Well,
but
also,
at this point, I feel like
it's really early.
Yeah, but at this point, I feel like that almost guarantees she's going to have a fantasy suite. I'm going to try and bookmark this in my brain to check back in to see if that's a thing, because I have a feeling. I have a feeling she'll be here for a while because of this night. Yeah. And it could have gone one way or the other, because like you could have taken someone on that date that was like train fucking wreck. This was my kind of date. You kidding me? I want a night at the museum with flashlights.
A museum romp?
Done.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
A museum romp where there's like lots of things to interact with and you're not just stuck there staring at each other.
I would also do you take me to Griffith Observatory and let's fucking do this all night? Because you want to know what app I have on my phone? It's this Skyview app, and I can literally like look at Jupiter or all the stars. It's really fun. I love it. I've heard of it. So I do that in bed at night. So yeah,
Sweet.
If I put it on
all I can see is a reflection of my own face, but I like that too.
Here's the International Space Station's through my floor right now. So on the other side of the planet. Yeah.
Dope. Love that.
Okay.
So basically anyone, I love you. Anyone who is listening to this right now, if you are curious about taking us out on dates, one, we're interested.
You heard it here.
Yes. And two, take us to a museum or somewhere where Alice can look at stars and constellations. We want it, and we will quickly fall in love with you.
Forever.
You heard it here
Maybe
first.
Not forever, but that night will be a great night.
Like a while. Like a little while.
And if you take us to dinner, it's on.
In. Yeah.
We're setting the bar so high.
Listen, for someone who's been setting the bar for really low for a really long time, I'm due to set it pretty high. You know, I'm flipping that script and reversing it. Okay.
Yes.
They come back, and I agree with what you said about how this is likely going to keep Katie involved in Zach's like sort of top. Whatever. It's weird to say that, but this is
top ladies.
Top ladies for a while, because they got to have extended time together, and they got to exchange in something that was kind of intimate. Assuming that it goes well, like, it's gonna help their connection. And the girls the next day were scared.
Yeah. I get that. Some of them, it seemed like they were up late waiting kind of for her arrival to like dish the tea, which I really, if I'm being honest, I put myself in this episode quite a lot. Like I really tried to and I would not like that. Like if I was Katie and came back and like people, and I'm sure it happens for every date, they're like waiting for you to arrive to be able to have a conversation. It's probably a pub producer pull too, but fuck that. It's like, I don't want to talk about it. Let me choose who I get to talk about it. Like, you know what I mean? So
it is actually a little backside insight on this particular moment that you're talking about. I was watching Victoria Fuller's Instagram as she was like recapping the episode. There weren't any spoilers, so I felt like safe, watching it. But basically she was just like a little bit of insight. Like the producers they sort of call everyone to the couches to be around when the person comes back from their date, regardless of when that is, especially if they are coming back. If they leave and you won't see them. But when they come back, she was like, they ask you, they put you in the position where they're like, everyone needs to be supportive and say and ask how it was and tell you, wow, we're so excited for you. That's so amazing. Blah, blah, blah. But I totally agree with you. Like it would be way more interesting and way more real if Katie was able to come back and just like pull whichever girls she's close to right now, maybe her roommate. Yes. Go to sleep.
Fuck. I'd be like, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm going to brush my teeth and go to bed and I'll think about it when I wake up.
Deuces. But to be able to be like, oh my God, listen, like I gotta tell you what was happening. First of all, Bachelor, you're missing an opportunity. One, you get to see how some of the alliances
this is where Love Island does it right. This is how Love Island does it right.
Saying.
Yes.
You'd be able to see where people's alliances are starting to form, which is actually really interesting on a sociological level.
100.
You would get to see girls in their girl talk in their freest form. When girls come to a space and they talk to each other in a way where they know that they are being carefully listened to.
Especially about boys. Yeah.
Especially about boys. Or anyone that they are fucking. They are going to come to a space, and if they are in mixed company, even if it's other women, but it's like other women they don't feel safe with, they're in mixed company, you're going to get, it was really great. It was super nice. Like
exactly. The PR response.
Exactly. And if they get the opportunity to choose the people that they feel close to, they're going to be like, girl, listen to this shit. I'm going to tell you. And then he took me, and then we went to, and then he had set up a tent. Like,
and he put his hand here and here. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, that's better fucking television.
We fucking talk. All right, guys? You guys aren't the only guys who talk about us ladies. Us ladies talk about you and your shit and all of the things too. All right?
I'm going to be honest. No one does it better than us. No one does it better than women.
Yes.
No one.
We tell it with a rom-com lens.
That's what I'm saying. We have been doing this for millennia. Please let us have our moment.
We were playing with our motherfucking Barbies, okay?
Exactly.
Jeez.
So I really feel like the Bachelor ABC enterprise is missing an opportunity for some hot fucking tea to be spilled on television.
Yeah, you guys, you're doing yourselves a disservice by taking the reality out of reality TV, okay? Oh,
that's right. That's right.
Mic drop.
That's
right. So Katie gets back from her date and gives everybody the PC talk, basically.
And she's so tired.
She's so tired. That poor girl. I'd be like, what is coming out of my mouth right now? It was a good time. Yeah, we stayed up all night. One of the girls was like, did you sleep? And she was like,
no.
I'm foaming at the mouth right now. No. Yeah. And a lot of the girls were tripping. They were tripping. It was awkward. Then we go to the group date. Now, my question is how many hours of sleep did Zach get between sending Katie home and going on this group date? He was
I had the same question.
Me too. I'm like, well, how many Red Bulls did you pound? Do they have you on a liquid IV? The answer to the liquid IV is probably yeah. They probably have someone that's just like, let me hit you up to some vitamin B. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like Coachella being the Bachelor, Bachelorette. Literally. It's like a 20-week Coachella.
Yeah, they had him hooked up. There's a reason why they never show the Bachelor like in his
room. Until engagement. That's the only time when Neil Lane shows up with the rings.
Exactly.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
So then he hosts the 5th Bachelor Bowl.
Yep.
Which is where the giant group date gets split into 2 football teams, and they get like a little bit of football training before they play a game, and you watch everyone go feral, which I love. And then the winning team.
So like Hunger Games.
Yeah, it truly is. And then the winning team gets to have like a cocktail hour date, which is really good. If you're new to the Bachelor series, welcome. We're happy to have you here. And 2, this is when they get a group date cocktail event with the star, with the Bachelor, but it's much smaller than it would have been with like 20 girls.
Although, I just want to say this. Usually the losing team pitches a fit and ends up going on the cocktail party anyway, but this time they didn't, and I was really proud of them. I was like, are we going to actually hold these rules, or are we going to make it wishy-water, participation trophy vibes? So, I mean, it was kind of fun to see them like stick to it,
Yeah.
So, yep. Group date, tackle football. These girls are going at it. There are tackles being made. There are touchdowns also being achieved. And then all of a sudden we go to the cocktail party because let's be real, there's not much else to talk about with the football situation.
No, I mean, the football was
Blue team
honestly, yeah, it was a good time to watch. Like a lot of the girls got really upset, but that's to be expected. Like it's fun to see people's competitive nature come out. And I live for that. So it's good television, but otherwise it's it adds nothing to the plot.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about what kind of a team player I'd be. I feel like I'd be the girl that would be 100% dedicated to my team, but simultaneously, if I had to talk with someone, I'd be like, oh my God, are you okay? Let me help you up.
Yeah.
Let me dust your butt off.
I respect that. And I would probably get along really well with you, which is no surprise to me. But I'd also be the girl that would work really hard, super competitive nature would come out. And I'd be congratulating the other team, being like, I'm so excited for you. It's so great.
We're weird.
I know, we're just good people. I don't know what to tell the world.
I know. It's I take the competition seriously, but I also want to be your friend, even though we're on the same team.
I want you to be happy too.
Yeah, and feel safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the most notable things that happen in the after party cocktail hour is
that part.
Ooh, the play-by-play. Bailey goes to, this is interesting. Bailey goes to Zach and she's like, hey,
man,
I just want to check in because I am feeling we connected really well. And I'm a person who tends to I feel better when I know where both parties are at. Valid, super valid.
Yeah.
And she's basically saying are we both still here? Are we both still vibing? Because I'm here and I want to make an effort. And I don't know if she at first got the chance or took the opportunity to really put her feelings out there to say, I am here for you and I really want to make this work. She just was like, hey, how are we doing? And Zach says to her, I paraphrase that, but Zach says to her, he's like, I'm glad you mentioned this. I'm not, basically what he says is I'm not feeling as strong of a connection with you as I have with some of the other people. And I haven't seen this progress in the way that I feel like it's supposed to. So let's just talk about that. And she's like, unfortunately, she then gets cut off by another girl that comes in.
So awkward.
Do you have notes on that first moment?
No. It was just awkward. I feel for her.
I just felt bad because then this conversation lost momentum. But
this is the one time where they should have been like, no, actually, let us finish. This is the one time to be like, no.
I felt the same way. It would have been perfectly acceptable for her to be like, hey, actually, we just need to finish this conversation. But I wish that Zach did that. Especially if he had feelings that this was going to be a conversation in which he eventually saw her out. I wish that he gave her the time to be or the respect to be like, hey, I know that you want to have a conversation, but we're just in the middle of something. Let's just talk about this for a minute and I'll come find you. I know you that came to find me. I will come find you. I got you. I wish that he did that, but he did not. But I am proud of Bailey for revisiting the conversation, not just letting it go stale.
For real.
She comes back to him and she's like, okay. And I love that she did this. I feel for her in this moment because what she did, she was like, I just want to be super clear. I agree that we haven't really been feeling on the same page that we did when we first got to the mansion, but I really want to make this work. I think that if we give ourselves some opportunity, we could be a really good match. I have a feeling about that and I want to explore it. And Zach sticks to his guns and he's like, I don't see our relationship in the same way that you I feel like I should. He didn't even say the way that you do. He was like, I just have stronger connections. I have feelings, but I'm going to hold them. What do you think?
What do I think about what Zach said?
Or what happened?
I mean, I feel for both of them because I feel for Bailey, it's not what she wanted to hear. So of course it's going to sting. And I feel for Zach because I think in that moment saw an opportunity to cut it clean, not waste his time, not waste Bailey's time, and not potentially, like keep someone in the house that, you know, he like very much like that's taking up space for that's a shitty way to put it. But when he knows it's not gonna to go anywhere. And so I think he could have just said that from the beginning. I just wish he kind of called it from the beginning. Like that's my biggest thing with Zach is that I wish he just said to the other girl who came to get like, let me hash this out. That's my biggest feedback. So.
I agree. I think that they actually missed an opportunity to explore the relationship a little bit more. I understand the position of the person who's in the Bachelorette seat. You have so many people and you have so many people that you have strong connections with that of the faintest connection, you're like, gone. I'm not into it. Don't want to explore it. But what I think, how I felt is both Bailey and Zach needed to make more of an effort to connect with each other and see if there was a bit more there with the time that they already had. Whether they weren't able to do that for lots of valid reasons, I'm sure it's at play here. But I just feel like Bailey hung back a lot. And I think that Zach was present in the relationships that flourished,
presented themselves
as they
to him.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I wish Zach did was like maybe hear her and be like, okay, she's trying to like make this, she really wants to be present in this thing. Let me see how this goes if we really make an effort for the next week. Mm-hmm. Like I wish that he just kept her on for another week before just being like, yeah, you know what? Now that you mentioned that, like, we're not feeling the same way, like it's probably best if you go. There could have been more there, especially because she was like, but she needed to do more. So maybe really it's just on her.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't really think with these two, I don't feel like it's on either. I just think whatever they had initially fizzled out because I look at like him with Gabby and I love Gabby for her dorky self that we've seen so far, but like she's basically gotten as much screen time as Bailey. Like she hasn't gotten much, but for some reason they're like super giddy about each other. So I just think that like now whether it's healthy or not, you and I have probably lots to say just going off of that feeling, but you know, I think that's what's kind of missing for him, at least at this point, where he can confidently say that. Because he's comparing 30 women based off of those initial warm fuzzies or lack thereof that he's getting, whereas Bailey's there focusing on one person. And so she doesn't, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's one of those things where I just think for the two of them, it was like, you know, it just wasn't in the stars. I don't know.
It just wasn't good timing. And you know what, like maybe she'll be on VIP. I would love that for her.
I would love that actually, because what I like about Bailey is that she's not this energy like Tajwan last week, you know, that's like, look at me, right? And I love watching those types in the VIP environment because you really get to see their genuine selves come out so much more. So I would love to see Bailey.
And she handled the conversation with Zach
really
well.
Well.
So we love you, Bailey.
Now we get into the fucking tea, bitch.
Okay, yeah, this is the other significant thing that ended up happening at this experience. So, cutting to the chase a bit. What's her name? Charity. Charity gets the rose,
which I'm stoked for. I love that.
Me too.
Yes,
Charity is awesome.
Deserves
She's super sweet. Every time she connects with Zach, she is authentic. She is herself. She's quite a poised individual person in general, but she seems that way even with the girls. Like
I love it.
So I'm not getting like I'm putting on a version of myself.
Me neither.
But the women, as they're just talking amongst themselves, as other girls are spending time with Zach one-on-one during the group date, and eventually Charity, they're just noticing that Christina is she's kind of just being a sore loser to start. Like what I would call Christina's behavior is just very indicative of an anxious attachment. Like, I think that she was just really nervous so she comes off of her one-on-one date as the first one. She's on the first group date for the first time. And she's just doing a piss poor job of relating to these women by talking about her one-on-one date, which is not making them feel nice. And she's doing it in sort of a comparative, like, put down
contemptuous way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she's just sort of like, well, on my one-on-one date, or wow, it's really hard for me to be on a group date.
This doesn't feel as special. Yeah. Right. I hated that she said that. I was like, you don't need to say that. Like, you're getting dirty. Yeah. And I think her anxiety, she masks it by putting on this posture of confidence that is not real. And that's how she's trying to make herself feel safe. And it's just it's not okay. Yeah. Exactly. And it's really hurtful and impactful to everybody else. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And I think that, like, she did herself a disservice. It's one thing if she feels all of those things. They just needed to be inside thoughts.
Yeah. 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 And there's a way to, like, go about, like, you just don't need to say that. Don't say, like, this is less special. You can be like, wow, the difference between having a rose on this date and a rose on this date is so surprising to me. And just leave it at that. Just be like, it just feels so different. Or just don't say anything at all. Like, no one needs to hear about your one-on-one anymore. I loved that Brooklyn was doing her fucking best to kindly and respectfully be like, stop talking, stop talking, stop talking. And then you finally see her be like, have you ever thought about just shutting the fuck up? It was so funny, but she said it, like, even she didn't raise her voice, but I was just like, girl, like, she is being tested. Brooklyn has the patience of Job. She gets the patience trophy. But yeah, you just see Christina starting to escalate in these little ways. So we start paying attention to that.
And then
the worst part,
Allie's when Charity comes back, she gets the rose.
Yeah, the worst part happens.
Christina says she, like, the girls are, and again, this is a producer sponsored event that says everyone go
sit
around.
Down. Zach's gonna give the rose out.
Yeah, he gives the rose, he leaves. Then all of the girls are supposed to talk amongst themselves about how they feel. Everyone's sort of giving Charity the opportunity to be, like, excited about it. Christina's like, well, honestly, I'm pissed off and I'm surprised.
And I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm confused. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
If I was in that room and she did that and said it twice, I would have been like, you're allowed to be confused. It's not your choice to understand. I literally would have said that. I would have.
That's good.
Yeah, because it's fucking true, girl. It's not your decision to make. You can sit there and be confused all you want, but I didn't like the choice of word confused because, again, it felt very contemptuous to me. So at that point, I started to be like, you want to mess with my girl Charity? My earrings are coming out.
But also they were right. It's like, let her just have this moment. Can we not just like...
wouldn't stop.
She wouldn't stop. And then, like, I get it. Like, she's affected. She's a human being. She's valid for having a feeling about what happened.
Yeah.
She's valid for having a reaction. But you know what? Like you don't have to be fake. You don't have to tell Charity, congratulations, I'm so happy for you. If you don't feel that way, don't say it. But just be by yourself with those feelings and then go talk to someone that you feel safe with later on. Not in front of a girl who is literally like, we're out here. Listen, I have a lot of problems with the show, but one of the problems is, like, the way in which we are led to accept crumbs. It's like, oh my God.
I know.
You know, these are crumbs that we're talking about. So, like, let her accept her crumb with glee. Okay. Like, let her have
her little
this moment.
rose. Yeah. So yeah, for me, that was, I just like, it was a crash and burn moment. For me with Christina, I was just like, she handled the confrontation from Brianna so good the previous week. And then she just, and this is exactly why, you know, it's insecurity, because when she's feeling confident, she's a gem of a human being, but good Lord, if that girl starts to feel insecure, everyone's going to go down in flames with her. And it's just like, no, that's not healthy human behavior.
So true.
Yeah.
So
Watch
true.
people's patterns. I'm going to make a rap. That's not going to sound like that because that's not good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have Allie and her one-on-one. And I fucking love this girl. I adore her.
I love
her.
Allie. I love Allie. Okay. So quick rundown. Her. Allie and Zach go skydiving, which is something that I would absolutely not done.
Me neither. I would have been like, can I say no on this show? Because I'm saying no to this. I'm not jumping on the plane.
It was
I don't care how many views it gives you.
It was super random and weird that they had them be in like tuxes and wedding outfits. I didn't think that was totally necessary, but I understand that this show is just all around cringe at every possible turn.
For real. Yeah.
That's what they were doing. Then they went skydiving, which again, I give her and Zach major props because you couldn't fucking pay me.
Me neither. No.
There is no way.
Yeah.
No.
Fucking baby.
No. Then they did it. And then they did it.
Yeah.
And then they did it. And then they go and they have like their one-on-one date, which I really liked. And I just want to give a little bit of context about what Allie's like deal was.
Yeah.
I think she identifies with the way that people receive her, which is this person, which we have gotten to be able to experience so far, which is that she is sunny and bright and smiley and positive, and in a way that is not like so sweet that it makes you kind of sick. Like it's the kind of energy, it's the kind of positivity that makes you feel really good to be around. And I know this about people who occupy this identity. What is challenging for them is that other people around them find themselves addicted to being around people like that. And they find themselves dependent on it in a way of, I don't know how to handle if you are in a bad mood or in a bad space, or if you're not happy.
Put them on a pedestal.
Or if I don't get access to you, like the way that I have come to feel comfortable with you because you make me feel good. And while she didn't say all of that, I've been doing this shit long enough to know that that's how people in those roles feel. And I heard her when she was like, I'm nervous about what it will be like for someone that I'm seeing, in AKA Zach in this case, to get all of the sides of me that aren't the positive, the happy, the bright, all of those things. And I can understand that there is a lot of fear there, because I imagine that people have felt challenged by her having any other range of emotion other than happy and positive. So she's just anticipating that this is going to be hard.
Yeah. And I think, like, obviously Allie is Allie, and I completely agree with you for her specifically. And I think women in general have been conditioned to like always be nurturing, always be kind, always be sweet, always be a good girl, always be politically correct, always be respectful, always be ladylike, always be, and it's just like, fuck you guys. We are human beings. We have the full range of emotion, just like men in any other gender has a full range of emotion. And it is completely valid for me to experience and express said emotions. Thank you very much. So, and Tucker agrees with me.
Really wants to agree.
She ends up expressing all this to Zach.
Yeah.
And again, I love how Zach held space for her and was just like started again asking questions and really just getting to know Allie for who Allie is. Mm-hmm. And what I loved even more was that I think this was a great example of how being authentically you is magnetic, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's just something about when a person is telling you something that's not 100% authentic or like in their truest, genuine selves, you can feel it. Like you might not consciously be aware of it, but you can feel it. And in this moment, Allie is expressing a very honest truth with a struggle of hers that she's experienced in past relationships. And instead of it freaking Zach out, it made him more drawn to her, I felt. Mm-hmm. So loved it, crushed it. I really like these two, and I can't wait to see where they go. This was a really cool wild card to see because we haven't seen much of Allie up until now.
We really haven't, and I wonder. At sort of sometimes, you know, you can predict how long someone's going to be in the show based on how they start to build them up. I wonder if that may mean that she won't be around for a very long time, which would kind of be a shame. Because I do think it would be a shame because I actually think that she's super cool. I don't know about them as a match, but I do think that like she is a lot of fun and silly, and like he really values being silly in a relationship. And so it sounds like, can you hear Tucker slurping?
A wee bit. Yeah, but not bad. Not bad at all.
Listen, king, that's king. I think that it would be like cool to be able to see them get to a more serious stage of their connection. I would really love that for Allie to be able to have someone get to experience the sides of her that maybe aren't in the moods all of the time. Yeah. Like just her being herself. In whatever that includes, and her getting to learn that that is safe and fine and still lovable and like all of the wonderful good things. What I want people to know about like when we feel nervous of I know that I can present X side of me, but I'm nervous about showing Y. I want people to know that for a person that just thinks that you're the shit, they truly won't give a shit. Like they won't care. They really won't care. Every time we are nervous that something is like someone's not going to be able to appreciate a part of ourselves, that's usually our own insecurity that comes up that says like, oh, I'm nervous that they're going to think I'm stupid. You know what I mean? When in reality, like the person that hopefully you choose and that chooses you reciprocally, like wouldn't even give it another thought. They're going to have other issues with you. That's fine. That's normal. But it won't be that thing.
No, 100%. So she gets a rose. Yay. And then they have like a cute little dancey makeout session, the end.
Very cute.
Pretty standard one-on-one date. Then Zach decides to forego cocktail party and throws a pool party. Splash.
I love that.
Me too. I love pool parties. That's my vibe. Like catch me by the pool. You know what I mean? Catch me by the pool, by a body of water, vibing. Love it.
I'll be playing mermaids.
I'll be playing mermaids. Watch my tail sparkle. Bitch. Yeah.
Flip. Yeah.
Flip.
I want you to judge my handstand. That's what I want.
Yeah. Pointed toes and everything. So speaking of mermaids, Zach pulls Ariel / Ariel. I honestly truly don't know how she prefers her name pronounced. But one of those, Little Mermaid vibes. To a jacuzzi, and boy, oh boy, did they ooh, it got real steamy. These two are into each other, at least very physically. We are not questioning that.
Yeah. I fully agree. And I think that there's been a healthy dose of getting to know each other a little bit, but it's all been through a very thick, flirty banter. So there's a lot of sexual chemistry. I love that for them. If they got to a fantasy suite, listen, that shit is on and popping. Good for them.
Real.
I'm curious. I'd love to see if they went further. I do wonder though, because again, they're silly in the way in which they're flirty, but she has kind of like a very serious, and I wonder if it's actually just the low octave of her voice. But she has kind of a serious edge to her that I wonder how silly can she be, and will that allow Zach to feel like he gets what he wants out of what he sees for himself in a relationship. I wonder a little bit about that.
Me too. I feel like she'll probably be on for a while, but I don't foresee him proposing to her in the end. I don't think she's his one, if you will. I will say this. immediately after that connection, we pivot over to seeing him chat with Jess. And at that point, I was like, oh my God, Jess looks like a teenager next to Ariel, however you say your name. I'm going to pay more attention this week to figure that out.
We both will.
And yeah. And so Jess is like, oh, that was hard. I'm still not really feeling it with Jess between the two of them. I feel like that might turn into another Bailey situation where she's on the show longer, but I don't know if it's going to progress. I just, for some reason, watching them, I don't feel the way I do watching him with some of the other connections he has. What about you? Anything on Jess?
Yeah, I think that her sweetness is very endearing. I think that she's adorable. But so far, what I feel like I've seen is, yes, she's giving him signs of like, I'm starting to get more comfortable. Like, I've stopped shaking around you. Like, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. But it still sort of just feels like, I'm really nervous. Can you reassure me?
Console
I'm
me.
Nervous, reassure me. I'm nervous. Reassure me. And I just like, that shit is only going to take you so far for so long. Until it, like, if it leads to a relationship, it builds a really bad, pattern.
Really bad pattern and a lot of resentment for the partner always having to reassure.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm with you. I hope that subsides and we get to see more of her. I don't know. I don't have a great feeling about that one either. Okay. Then we have Brianna, the catalyst to something that's huge. So last week we talked about this a little on the show where Brianna was very much tempted to just let Zach in on the Christina situation. Zach said, if you guys have squashed it, let it be. So she respected that. She didn't name drop. And then it got to the point for Brianna where she felt so uncomfortable based off of some of the comments that now we as the audience are now starting to witness Christina making. Because up until this point, we weren't seeing this. And she's decided to take her leave. And at that point, she sits down with Zach and straight up says, Christina is the one that, and I get why. Like at that point, she had nothing to lose. She wants to speak up for herself and for the other girls. And it really catches Zach off guard. Do you have anything did anything like stand out to you during this conversation? Anything you want to bring up?
I understood why. Thank you for pausing, for giving me a moment to reflect, because I do have a feeling about this. I understood. I felt the same way where it was like, okay, there's nothing for her to gain. She just wants to like speak her piece and like be out. It did still cross his boundary that he set like a week earlier. But honestly, like even per our discussion from the group date in which Christina was incredibly irritating, I still don't think that it amounts to the level of warning that they were giving. And if it did, we didn't see it. Like, this is just my opinion. So I'm prepared to stand here on this island by myself if I must. But like the severity of which they were like, they're trying to paint her as a bully when all she was doing was just being sour and being annoying about it. But I didn't really think that it was that big of a deal. And if honestly, not everyone is going to be like this, but my preference in my little utopia, when all women and everyone is more empowered than they are from like a secure place within themselves, is to be like, go on, cry about it, you little whiny baby. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
go ahead and be confused. Feel your feelings.
Yeah. Like I really believe
don't push that onto
shit,
us.
I really believe that shit will show itself in its consequences. Like if you think the person that you're with is going to be attracted to that kind of energy and not call that as a red flag once they catch wind of it, but in a way in which they get to experience it, then yeah, maybe that's not the person for you. I would have been way more comfortable with her just being a pouty little brat and not had so many feelings about it that they did.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting because it's like women and men too, because this happens when it's a bachelorette and all the men are in the house and then there's one kind of a villain or stepping out of line. And sometimes it gets drastic to the point to where it needs to be brought up if it truly is bullying. You know what I mean? But we see these people who are in the house take almost like a policing role, and like I have to make sure whoever you're dating is good enough, and it's like, isn't that up to that person though? And so that I feel is what we're seeing, is like these women are, instead of being like, I have a problem with this person, in the way that they're not taking ownership of it, they're way more trying to cast what's the word, like judgment on this person for being this way, in a light that is now impacting Zach. So here's what I'm trying to say in a very not good way, is that the girls are taking it upon themselves to weed out the women they don't feel are good enough for Zach, instead of allowing Zach the time to get to know everyone's true colors in the house. And, you know, I will say this, I commend Zach for just like being done with it, only because I know that based off of what we've seen in the past, when the Bachelor, Bachelorette doesn't listen to what the house has to say, it just blows up in flames even more. Yeah. And we spend a lot of time in the season, like basically paying attention to that instead of the connections actually forming.
Right. True.
So a part of me is kind of glad that he just went snip, snip. I was also shocked, because I didn't think he was going to do that after what happened with Christina and the family. Which I guess,
shocked.
I know, which I guess goes to show that Zach isn't fucking around. You know, if something comes up, I also think that here's where I have feedback for Zach a little bit, is if you're going to go look into something that was said about somebody, I am of the mindset that instead of pulling Christina first, he should have gathered the information from the other women that Brianna brought up to get their experience before pulling Christina to hear what she was going to say. That's my 2 cents. And it's honestly a personal opinion. There's no textbook on this shit. It's just that and also it's from my perspective of being a third party, quite literally watching the show. Yeah. But it's just, if someone comes up to me and says, these people have experienced this, I want to go talk to those people directly to hear what they have to say about their experience before I wrangle in the guilty culprit, if you will.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's me. That's how Alex would handle it. That doesn't really matter, other than me sharing my opinion here on our podcast. Yeah. The end.
I think that it makes sense that he eliminated Christina, which again was so surprising to me, just because of the rapport that the two of them built up until that point. Like, was one of the more significant relationships that we were seeing at that early stage. And usually people with that kind of connection with the Bachelor or Bachelorette do not leave that early. No. So it was a little surprising.
I was surprised.
Yeah. But I wasn't feeling this way, but you bring up a really good point about how this makes a lot more room for everyone for us to be able to see the real connections going on. Of course, even if Zach is progressive in the way of like snipping people that are causing drama, the show is going to continue to look for it and find it and kind of even promote it.
There's going to be another villain now, because it's way too early. That's the thing, is they need at least one. And now that Christina's been cut, they're like, well, now we have big shoes to fill, so who's next? So yeah, I feel for these people, because again, we aren't watching reality TV. We're watching heavily manipulated TV is what we're really watching. And so I really want to, I vote for a season of Bachelor, Bachelorette where they just leave cameras on the walls and we get to watch that way, instead of it being this whole rose ceremony. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let us just watch people interact.
Give us the side angles. I think that Christina, first of all, I think that she would also do really well on VIP. And I think that of course we would get like a Shanae effect, where Shanae was the villainest of villains in Clayton's season. Christina has gotten this like baby villain edit because she wasn't on there very long. And which I think that if we saw her on VIP, where we get to like see more of her just kind of being a human being and not so much of a focal point, we'd probably see that she's actually like pretty chill.
Now that I think about it, VIP is a lot of Bachelor villain redemption. Like, there's a lot of people who are seen as villains. Victoria, what's her name? Shanae. I was going to say Sharon. Jesus.
Sharon.
Shanae. Yeah. there's been several that have like gone on and it's like, oh, I actually like you here. And I think that's partially because of the way the show is set up. There's a little bit more organicness to Bachelor in Paradise because it's people meeting people and you just see who gravitates towards one another.
Right.
So
exactly.
Anyway. All right. Anything else? Oh, so who ends up going home? Christina.
Bailey went home.
And
Brianna went home. Christina.
Brianna. And that's it. So.
And Bailey.
Yeah.
There was only going to be one person that was eliminated by the time that
because of the others
ceremony, and it was Christina. So, let's talk about what we're.
I'll say what I'm ditching.
Okay, please.
I am over ditching people for having human emotions and human experiences. I'm really, honestly, I could get on a little soapbox about this. Okay.
Yeah, tell us.
If people, I feel this happens all of the time, like whether it's like, I'm not allowed to have feelings about my work. I'm not allowed to have feelings around my partner. I'm not allowed to have feelings around my parents, right? Like whatever it is, I feel that there's, we need to understand that anger isn't the problem. Jealousy isn't the problem. These emotions that we deem as bad emotions are neutral. It's when we allow those emotions to fuel toxic behaviors and hurt other people that they become a problem. Handle your anger. Go be angry. Go, do your thing. Scream in your car, punch your pillows. If you're feeling jealous, write about it. What are you feeling jealous? What within you can you fix, heal, love on, support? What kind of help do you need to mitigate that jealousy? It's like, and shame. All of us feel shame, and sometimes we can do really shitty things to try and avoid feeling shame that only propel more shame. So it's like, sit with the shame and like love on that part of yourself that feels so much fear around, oh my God, what if that makes me this? It's like, love on it. At the end of the day, like, I know it sounds so fucking cliche and silly, but give that part of you the love and education and support that it needs, and you will be so surprised at the power you have within you. And that is all. I am done, but I'm over the emotional, you can only be this way bullshit.
Are you kind of speaking to the way in which everyone responded to Christina?
Sure, that can be part of it. I was mostly talking about Allie and what she brought up about like her being in relationships and people being like, you're always so happy. What's wrong with you? It's like, fucking nothing's wrong with me. I'm a human.
And even though we've been critical about Christina, I will extend it to her that like, I think that people needed to give a little less of a shit about her being upset and just let her like go, like be a tantrum queen.
And I think that that's really what she needed is the redirection. It's like, okay, we understand that you're confused and we understand you're upset and we understand that this stings a little because guess what? Everybody else on this couch, except for Charity right now, is feeling the same way. So if you can sit there and either choose to be supportive and keep those thoughts to yourself. And if you can't, then, I'll go listen to them. Let's go for a walk and you can share them with me. But I'm not going to let you sit here and be a Debbie Downer for the entire group, and especially this girl, Tucker.
Tucker really feels the same way. But I agree. Yeah, I think that it's important to be able to just like allow people to be people. And if you do find yourself in partnership with someone who is exploring a range of emotions that you are not familiar with, because maybe you're new in a relationship and you've only gotten to see like these shiny filtered versions of them before now, and you're watching them go through something difficult for the first time, be curious. That's all. Rather than take them down and be like, you're usually so happy. What's up? Like, this isn't like you. It's so invalidating to tell someone when they're going through something to be like, this isn't like you. I'm not used to seeing you like this. It's one thing to hear that from a person who's known you for a very long time. But as a new person in a relationship with you, to be like, this is not like you. It's like, actually, maybe this is a lot like me. Maybe this is a lot like me. And maybe I get like this probably in the privacy of my own space. And this is why I don't show it to other people, because it puts them off and it makes them feel uncomfortable. And people feeling uncomfortable makes me feel uncomfortable. And then I don't know what to do with it. And I just want to make everyone happy. And luckily, I'm really good at that. So I'll just switch into that gear. You know?
Yeah. So we're ditching that.
We're ditching it. What are we calling
Felicia.
It? What do you want to call
What are we calling what?
Calling in.
Oh, what are we calling in? I'm calling in men who ask more questions on dates.
Me too.
I just curiosity. Let's go back to that word. Let's bring in more curiosity with ourselves and with each other.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I really do love that word. I should get that word tattooed on your body. Curiously curious.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I would, how funny would it be to tattoo curious, like as a tramp stamp, kind of like above your ass? Curious.
It's probably already exists. It really does. I wouldn't put it there. I wouldn't put it there.
Well, coming to a tramp stamp near you, sponsored by Brianna.
Love it.
Okay, this has been really fun. And
so much fun.
Tucker has had a great time. I could tell you that.
Yes.
And if you want to come ask us more questions or even be featured on a mini session, please write to us at ditchthescript.com/podcast. And you can write to us there. You can write your little question and let us know what your needs are, and we will get back to you. In addition to that, you can interact with us on Instagram and TikTok at Ditch the Script Pod. Please go to Apple and Spotify, rate us, review us, tell us what subscribe to it. Go to our YouTube channel. We also upload full video content episodes of our recordings. You get to see all of our beautiful, wonderful facial expressions. Yeah, and all of like the little hand stuff that we do and the way I occupy my ADHD. And sometimes we'll high five each other through the screen. You really don't want to miss that. So, if anything, please review us. Please. We'd love to hear from you.
All right. We love you. Peace out. We'll see you next week.
Bye.